Welcome, my Virgo collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign. Welcome to your 7-card draw. What do I need shadow read for this full moon in October, waning to the new moon in November 2021? I'm your reader, Mark Angelo Lyons, Mal for short, professional witch, professional intuitive, president of DrawingTheCircle production since 1998, author of Words of Grace, from a professional witch, available on Kindle, link in the description box, the Archangel of Lyons, Mark Angelo Lyons. But you can call me Mal. Hello, my fellow Virgos. Virgo sun sign that I am, second house, Leo rising, and ready to rock and roll. If you're new to the channel, a 7-card draw is just one card from 7 different decks of cards, getting you clues, tips, and hints about a specific timeline. The timeline we are looking at, as aforementioned, the full to new October, November. Let's look at that information, shall we? The full moon on Wednesday, October 20th, 10:57 a.m. Well, it's a void of course at the same time it goes full. An astrologer would say that is a void of course full moon, but to each their own. And then we are looking at the waning, the releasing, the minimizing, the shrinking, the alchemy, letting go. You get the idea. 2 weeks later, the new moon in Scorpio on Thursday, November 4th of 5:15 p.m. all times Eastern. I am in New York. So here's the deal. You know the deal. It's a general read. Take what resonates, leave what does not. Check your other signs to get more information about the timeline we are about to look at, or perhaps another, that the divine kind of knows what you need. That's sort of their job, their higher perspective. You know, absolutely, if you want to do that, there's a playlist at the end in the cards, whatever that's called, at the end of the video. And if you would like a private personal read, there's a link in the description box. A video booking a reading with Mal. Just sent it to a client, prospective client this week, and now we're setting up a tarot party in West Hampton in Long Island, and I'm kind of psyched for that. And the client said, that answered all my questions, let's book this, and so we are. So other than that, all the decks that I read are always in the bottom of the description box, should you care to explore them, with lots of links on the way down there. Other than that, all I can ask is both feet on the floor. If you can, stay grounded, my earth signs, and focus on your breath. If you will, I will do the same to get you the clarity, the guidance, and the grace that I can to help you out to do the shadow work this full to new. Shall we? Please take a nice deep breath. Let's draw down as I call upon the collective pantheons of the divine, the angels, archangels, goddesses, gods, ascended masters, the higher selves of all involved, the spirit animals, totems, the pantheons for the Virgo collective. Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign watching this video, receiving this reading. Please, one card from the Caroline Mace archetype deck. What is the dominant 8th chakra dynamic hovering over the heads of the Virgo collective, showing them the nature of the soul lesson being learned, the alchemy from shadow to light, lead to gold, this full to new October, November 2021. And we've got the warrior archetype. Cool. An action family archetype of the 9 families. The shadow to light here tells you pretty much everything you need to know about the shadow work. The shadow to light, literally written on the card. Trading ethical principles for victory at any cost. Has been happening since humanity dawned on this planet. Indifference to the suffering of others, gotta admit, it's pretty cold-hearted. It's more of that mercenary type of warrior. Wonderful go-go song, Mercenary. You'll see what I mean. The light attribute, what you are shooting for here in this alchemy by new moon, is the development of strength, skill, discipline, and toughness of will, which means making the tough choices, heroism rather than villainy, stoicism, and self-sacrifice and conquering the ego. Now, this is sort of based on the old patterns and paradigms of spirituality, which is great. This is when this came out. But in fifth dimensional awareness, it's not that the ego is conquered, the ego is integrated. The ego is the egg, right? The egg, the caterpillar, the cocoon, and the butterfly. The ego, the personality, the soul, and the higher self. It's all a spectrum. So the ego is not the enemy, and yet it is definitely what happens when we become overwhelmed, inflamed, angry. It's certainly, that stuff is in the shadow. It takes over. So an action family archetype of that nature we're looking at, are you going to be a villain warrior or a hero warrior, right? And lots of villains think they're heroes, and every hero had to play villain before in order to become a hero. That's the Lead to Gold hero's journey. So let's do this. That's the 8th chakra, hovering above the head, the energy dynamic affecting the electromagnetics of every chakra underneath it. Let's look at the next 4. The crown, the third eye, the throat, and the heart. Please, take a nice deep breath. Okay, I call upon my goddesses of earth, the sign of Virgo, and the powers of the north. Please, heart, throat, third eye, crown, daughters of the moon, tarot. This is where the shadow work usually goes down. What's going on for the Virgo here with the warrior archetype this full to new? Whoa, okay. We've got the emperor in this deck called Pan, and the Greek god Pan, also called le Dion, the son of goddess, but in this case, an amalgam of both the emperor and the Hierophant. It's a feminist deck, so a little light on the masculine imagery, which makes sense. This is the healthy masculine energy, but certainly the emperor is also the amalgamation of all the kings in the tarot. All 4 elements as one, the spirit king, if you will. And the vibe that I get on this for Virgo is that this is really about self-control, right? You always hear control with the emperor, because the emperor is in control of an empire. But in terms of heart, throat, third eye, crown dynamic, those 4 elements, really, this is a spirit card. So this can very much be the unity of the entire interior system, the world behind your eyes, right? Your spiritual power, mental power, power of choice, willpower, and emotional power. Now, you look at an emperor warrior or a warrior emperor, those have existed. Those are actual things that have been in place on planet Earth. And do keep in mind, this is all gender neutral. It does not matter your biological gender or your gender of, you know, how you identify yourself, particularly on my channel. I don't care. You do you. You're a soul first that comes into a body, right? Genderless and the highest vibration of what you are. You come in to experience the gender of that. So don't get hung up on that. Whatever you're feeling here, it's really about your honor and your integrity. And let's look at that in the lower 3 chakras, particularly the solar plexus. Please take a nice deep breath. As I call upon, oh, here we go, as I call upon my gods of earth, the sign of Virgo, powers of the north. What's going on in the lower 3 chakras? Perhaps their root chakra, their tribal relationships, or their second chakra, their umbilical one-on-one relational dynamics, and perhaps, as I'm getting here, what's going on in their solar plexus, their honor code, their relationship to themselves, their integrity, their honesty, their intuition, their survival intuition, their boundaries, particularly with a warrior archetype. Maybe they just want to win no matter what. And with that emperor inside of them, I think they've got the power to do that. But hero or villain, what's going on in their lower 3 chakras? From the outside looking in, the inside looking out, something about that world. This full to new, you've got a court card here. Now this is the Queen of Swords, the Aquarius card, literally pouring a jug of water here. Fixed air. Now whether this is looking at you, like step out, see yourself horizontally, whether or not you have Aquarius zodiacal placement in your natal chart, we are talking about somebody here who has that 11th house Aquarian vibe, humanitarianism, egalitarianism, friendliness, seeing the larger picture. Fixed air is the Aquarius, like the stratosphere, can see the larger picture, like from the satellite point of view. And as a result, they tend to see things impersonally, which can often mean very cold. That's why often you hear in tarot the Queen of Swords being a head over heart vibration, but fixed, right? Not all over the place, really, really seeing things from a very high point of view. I've dated a lot of Aquarians, and it's not so much that they pull back, they pull up. Like they want to see the facts, they want to see the larger picture here. That's why humanitarianism, this can be a very fifth dimensional experience going on here if the person is looking for truth. So whether this is you or you are dealing with somebody of that nature, they don't have to be Aquarians on paper either, but certainly this does talk about a certain sense, maybe not of fairness, which would be Libra, but of that humanitarian nature. A real hero is what this is looking like, and one who has the power to actually do it right. Digging this for a Virgo. And that vibe of control intuitively is definitely on that Emperor card there, right? So this might be, well, binding back the win at all costs, who cares what they... Well, and the Aquarian can be, this last part of this, indifference to the suffering inflicted on others in its shadow. But I feel like that's the thing. Look, everybody wants to burn down the village. Everybody wants revenge. Everybody wants to win at all costs. But this is the evolution of the soul we're talking about. So don't be afraid of those shadow feelings. Just don't act on them, alchemize them, heal them. That's what the work is. Let's get you a Matt Kahn healing mantra here to help you with this self-same healing. Please take a nice deep breath. As I call upon the Ascended Masters, let's say General Assembly, this could play out in all sorts of different ways. One card in clarity, the perfect healing mantra for the Virgo collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs. Watching this video, receiving this reading, alchemizing the warrior in the 8th chakra with the Emperor on heart, throat, third eye, crown, their inner world, the Queen of Swords, the Aquarian energy on the outer. What's their perfect healing mantra to help them with the shadow work this full to new? Sharing shame. When I share my deepest pain, I give myself permission to be. This is about the throat chakra, rite of compassion. Compassion, confession, which brings forth compassion. Sharing shame. Now look, everybody's got it, but let's be clear. There's a difference between guilt and shame. Guilt is I've done wrong. Shame is I am wrong. And that's not true. You are an eternal being, a soul that incarnated into a body in order to evolve and grow and heal, right? What is a healer? One who heals rather than hates, rather than destroys. One who is willing to even heal the shadow here. So let's read this from the bookie book, Sharing Shame. When I share my deepest pain, I give myself permission to be, and this can be in a legitimate, straight-up counseling session. Should you choose to go there, it can be a confession to you and to the divine, right? To another person, to a friend, maybe somebody with a compassionate ear here. So let's read this. This is a quick one. When I share my deepest pain, I give myself permission to be. When shame is shared, cycles of victimhood are permitted to heal as you find the courage to speak the truth. So patterns of victimhood are on the table here. Now, who else would victimize but someone who has been victimized, and who hasn't? Since abuse and neglect can only be perpetuated in silence, it is your willingness to step forward and share your life's story that helps transform each wound and inspire others to be set free. And we're seeing so much of that on planet Earth. People coming out of the closet, so to speak, as to their trauma, as to what happened to them, as well as the things that they have done. That rite of confession is a therapeutic thing. Anatomy of the Spirit, Carolyn Mace, read the throat chakra chapter, and it's also in my book, Words of Grace. Once your shame is shared, you are able to honor yourself with the heightened encouragement, worthiness, and validation that you deserve to receive. I think in terms of shadow work, Virgo, that's a really good mantra. Now, you don't have to tell everybody. You don't have to put it on social media. We're Virgos, right? We tend to kind of keep that stuff to ourselves. We are one of the most boundaried signs. Are they always healthy boundaries? That's a process. But certainly you can, like I said, do this in prayer, right? Light a candle, talk to the divine. Confess, right? Share your shame. This mantra is ideal for revisiting past traumas, which who isn't being triggered nowadays? Expressing your inner child. Inner child work is a huge way of doing shadow work, and finding self-acceptance, because the soul always accepts. The personality doesn't know about acceptance until it does, and the ego just regrets everything, right? So instead of acceptance, the opposite of acceptance being denial, we can think of regret as the opposite of acceptance, but they're connected, not the same thing, but connected. So sharing shame, a warrior sharing shame. Interesting, right? Imagine if all the warriors did that. Imagine if all those warriors, and not just necessarily militaristic. This could be somebody in a work situation. We gotta win at all costs, right? And I get it, Virgo. We can be very determined. So, the Whispers of Love Oracle. Let's see what the higher selves have to say. Breathe. Oh yeah. All right. As I call to the higher selves of all involved, 5th dimension and above, 8th chakra and above, what is the whisper of love for the Virgo collective? Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs watching this video, receiving this reading, alchemizing the warrior with the Emperor on the inner, Aquarius, Queen of Swords on the outer, sharing shame, their healing mantra here this full to new October, November. Speak the language of love. Gee, with sharing shame, when I share my deepest pain, I give myself permission to be. This can be done through speaking the language of love. Loving words have the power to change someone's life, including your own. And honestly, if this is you with that Aquarian energy, again, you do not have to have Aquarian planets in Aquarian placement. This could very much about being very kind to yourself, right? Seeing the larger picture as a result of you sharing your shame, because the soul has no shame because it knows it's divine. It is the personality and the ego that struggle with that. Speak the language of love. I don't know. This seems very puzzle piecey here. Let's keep going. We are now fully in Oracle land here. What is the divine animal oracle? The spirit animal and or totem doing the shadow work with you. Breathe. As I call upon the spirit animals and totems for the Virgo collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign watching this video, receiving this reading, who walks with them, who crawls with them, who flies with them, who swims with them through this shadow work, alchemizing the warrior with the Emperor within. There's obviously abuse of power, because how else do they get to learn how to use their power unless they abuse it first? It's the learning curve of it all, right? With that Aquarian vibe on the outer, they're probably much more of a peace seeker right now, right? Hands across America, link pinks, we are the world, we are the children. But there is some shame to be shared there, which is going to inspire a lot of people, even if it's only done one-on-one, while they speak the language of love. What's the divine animal oracle? The rhinoceros. Preposterous. The rhinoceros. The rhinoceros. The key word, moderation. All things in moderation, says the archway of the Oracle of Delphi in Greece, along with know thyself. I think this is pretty apt. What card are we there? 32. 32, Rhinoceros. Just going to read you the beginning and the ending of this chapter because the info in this book is voluminous. Rhinoceros, keyword, moderation. Seek moderation in all things. Find the middle path. Very Buddha. Not everything is an extreme choice of black versus white. Being passionate about something is positive, but to be obsessed may not be. You feel that warrior vibe there, right? Shadow to light, passion versus obsession, winning at all costs or doing it in a fair, honorable way. Leave behind what you no longer need, which is perfect for a shadow read. So that makes sense. I don't think of rhinoceri, which I think is the correct plural, as being necessarily one of moderation, but in this book they go into the behavior of the animal, which would explain it. So we're going to skip that and go right to the magic. The magic of Rhino is a beautiful dance between strength, power, and moderation. You know, isn't that this? Isn't that the Emperor on the inner with that moderation, that fairness, that Queen of Swords, that kindness perhaps on the outer? This is an incredibly powerful animal, and yet this is balanced with calm and restraint. Strength, skill, discipline, and toughness of will, heroism, stoicism, it's an interesting word, and sacrifice and conquering the ego. Let's say sacrifice in integrating the ego and healing in doing this honorably, wisely, and well. Digging it. Digging it. This makes sense. So in other words, like I said, with the sharing of the shame, you don't have to put it on social media. You don't have to tell the world, right? You know, like I said, you can even do this to the divine in prayer and meditation, what have you. And the rite of confession, if you look at the throat chakra, you got something going on in the lower chakras, you have to get it off your chest, right? Up and out, processing it, doing the alchemy from the root chakra all the way up to the 8th. Yeah. All right, last card down. The hidden blessing from the mystical Celtic blessing cards to enhance and empower, called Blessed Be by Lucy Cavendish. I almost screwed up the way the cards were facing. Please take a nice deep breath. As I call upon the pantheon of pantheons, of all traditions, lineages, cultures, even the extraterrestrial starseedy stuff, please, one card in clarity. What is the hidden blessing for the Virgo collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, Sun, watching this video, receiving this reading, that will come as a result of the alchemizing of the warrior into strength, skill, discipline, and toughness of will, making the tough choices, heroism, stoicism, and self-sacrificing and integrating the ego with the power within them, the Pan power, the Emperor power, with the Queen of Swords on the outer, that humanitarian, egalitarian interaction with the world of the Aquarian card there, sharing shame, that when they share their deepest pain, they give themselves permission to be as they are, where they are, in the present moment, releasing the past, and then moving forward as they speak the language of love, these loving words having the power to change someone's life, including their own, in moderation, with that rhinoceros energy there, so powerful but tempered, calm, deliberate. What's the healing blessing here for the Virgos, this new to full? A blessing of protection. I like that. And I really love this card. I'm very purple and green myself, my two favorite colors, the colors of Dionysus, the vine, and the grape. Also, grapes come in purple and green. Very Virgo for me, always changing, mutable element of earth. So let's get you the blessing here. Card number 23. They're 3s and 5s, look alike. And I'm going to give you this blessing for real. Blessing stone there. Please take a nice deep breath. Pantheons of the divine, please transmit this blessing through me as I read. Card number 23, a blessing of protection. A blessing to shield and safeguard you against harsh circumstances, people, and weather. May the blessing of may the blessing of an ancient sword be yours, warrior, held high and shining, subduing all who may through intent or simple destructive force do you harm. May a great shield be held above you, so that when arrows rain down on you, they may glance off you, so that leaving you untouched, unharmed, but with a great, glad, fierce joy of life given again to you. May the protection of the land beneath you be yours, so your feet are firm on the good earth, and all good food rises and finds its way to your table again and again. May your home, your creatures, your children, and all who dwell within your walls be sheltered and encircled with a ring of bright flame by the goddess, and let nothing that could harm you pass. And if you leave your home, let the path you walk be starred with blessings, so that each touch of the earth upon your feet is gentle and safe and certain. May the rowan tree grow strong above you, and beneath her branches may there be protection. And with those gentle leaves come the blessings of kindness, tolerance, acceptance, and the embrace of nature and her medicine within you. May the cloak of the goddess be about you, keeping you warm and safe, shielded and sheltered, hidden from those who would do you harm, comforted and encouraged to keep going. For beneath her shield, with her sword held high, within that circle of blue flame, and with her blessing upon your path, you are protected and blessed. And from this you must know how precious and beloved you are to her. Blessed be. You know, there's this thing about protection, right? For the warrior, that this is your ability to protect others, perhaps, as the warrior, as well as to bind back and actually do the healing, to be protected as you do the shadow work. Because, you know, what would make somebody trade their ethical principles for victory at any cost, or have indifference to the suffering of others, their own pain, their own fear? This is what is underneath the shadow behavior. This is why the shadow work is so key. And because we're all one, as you do this for yourself, Virgo, you are helping us all heal. Unity consciousness is one of us heals, all of us heals. Everyone has a role to play here. So let me put this together for you in the final blessing. Please take a nice deep breath. As I call upon the collective pantheons of the divine, please bless the Virgo collective sun, moon, rising, Venus signs watching this video, receiving this reading with all that they need to help them with the shadow work, the precious, very important, very vital shadow work that needs to be done this full moon to new moon, October, November, that they may alchemize the warrior archetype, finding their strength, skill, discipline, toughness of will, heroism, stoicism, and self-sacrifice, and integrating the ego with a blessing of protection upon them, a hidden blessing. They may not really experience it and see it until, or maybe through, the shadow work here, which they can go about in an Aquarian way, or dealing with someone with that Aquarian vibe, being humanitarian, egalitarian, calm, kind, the very things indicated in that blessings of protection, while they share their shame. Because when they share their deepest pain, they give themselves permission to be, so the divine may enter, and they can do that with the magic of rhinoceros in moderation. Yes, slow and steady wins the race. Yes, we know the Virgo card is the Knight of Pentacles, the slowest of the knights, but gets the job done moderately so, as they speak the language of love to themselves and anyone else involved here, even to the divine, because loving words have the power to change someone's life, including their own, and certainly they have the power. They have that emperor skill, strength, control, knowledge, wisdom, and hopefully love going on in their own interior world, so that as they heal, as they grow, as they alchemize, as they do this shadow work, they heal, they grow and learn and evolve for all of us, and we go along with them as one unity, moving ever upward for our well-being and for the well-being of all. So motivate. And so it is. What a divine service, Virgo. And remember, Virgos are all about service. So did you get some service out of this? Did this reading serve you, my beloveds? Then please like the video and help other fellow Virgos to really embrace their warrior in the healthiest way. And if you want a private reading, you know how to do that. Link in the description box. And should you be interested in the throat chakra, the sacrament of confession and the therapeutic model, absolutely check out Anatomy of the Spirit by Carolyn Mace, or you can certainly check it out in my book, Words of Grace from a Professional Witch. Otherwise, my beloveds, I have clients to get to today, so wishing you all the very best and the very blessed of this full to new October, November 2021. Virgo, power, hail, farewell, and blessed, blessed be.